You good, Maverick O'Hare? Welcome to podcast episode number 151. Escape the Matrix and don't eat the bugs. You know, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world where a group of people want us to be eating the bugs and a bunch of other crazy things. It sounds like some kind of wild conspiracy theory, some kind of fiction stuff that has been made up. But it is happening out in the open. Even here in Norway, there was a factory built to basically raise bugs, produce bugs, and then use those bugs to produce food, you know, crazy stuff. And it's already happening around the world. In America, there is a bunch of food products. The way I've understood it, there's already a bunch of food products on the market that contains bugs where people are not even aware of it. I think chips is one of them. But yeah, eating the bugs sounds like some kind of dystopian nightmare, but it is happening. So yeah, maybe it's about time to escape the Matrix and the 9 to 5 rat race, because you know, if they are able to get so many people to eat the bugs, literally, just imagine all the other things they want to do, and a lot of it are out in the open. You know, things like Agenda 2030, the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, the C40 Consortium / the C40 cities. A lot of crazy things going on. So crazy that yeah, a lot of it sounds like made up conspiracy theories. But when they are talking about it out in the open and posting it on the internet, the people that are behind it itself, well, then I guess it's not just a conspiracy theory anymore. Especially not when it is starting to happen. Yeah. And the thing is, with a lot of those things, a lot of those dystopian things that are going on the surface, if you look at it with a quick glance, or just hear a little bit about it, it might sound like great things, some of them. Like, for example, the 2030 agenda. A lot of those things, if you just take a quick glance at it, it looks amazing, some of them. But when you take a closer look at it and kind of start thinking about the ramifications and how it's probably going to play out, and how extremely tyrannical and totalitarian it is going to be, and how much freedom people will lose by those things, then it's pretty crazy, you know. But what does the Matrix have to do with this? Well, the thing is, if you are trapped inside the 9 to 5 rat race, it's going to be a lot harder for you to resist many of those things. And you might also be a lot more vulnerable for many of those things, and a lot more affected, and so on. Because if you are free from the 9-to-5 rat race, if crazy things are happening, yeah, maybe you can resist. Maybe you can resist. Maybe you can move to a different location. Maybe you can get in contact with people that can help you. Maybe you can move off the grid. You know, a lot of options. So yeah, I know a lot of this sounds, yeah, pretty conspiratorial or a bit crazy, but just search it up online. It is happening. And if you look at history, you can take a look at, you know, one quote that comes to mind. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's often the case. And if you look at history, things like different communist regimes, the things that happened in Soviet Russia, for example, just to take one communist example, it was so extreme that a lot of the people that lived there was not even aware of it. And millions of people got murdered, but they don't know how many millions. It was tens of millions of people. A book about that from a guy that experienced it is The Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I have not read it myself yet. I have listened to, I think, about 25% of the audiobook. But yeah, it is absolutely wild and almost unfathomable, the crazy things that were going on. Yeah, but that was a few decades ago. So things like that doesn't happen now, you might say, but there are still crazy things happening. And now those, that's a communist example, but the things that I just talked about, those are not exactly communist or socialist example, at least not purely, but still, I took that communist example just to, yeah, just to kind of remind us of the kind of crazy things that people in power positions are capable of doing. There are a bunch of other ones. Nazi Germany, World War II, a bunch of examples out there. My point is, people in extreme power positions, especially if it is tyrannical governments or tyrannical totalitarian positions, they are capable of doing extreme things. So these things that I just talked about, like the World Economic Forum, eating the bugs, the 2030 agenda, those things, it is, yeah, scary stuff. Doesn't mean you have to go around being paranoid or afraid, but I don't think it is something to ignore completely. Imagine all the things we could do if we escaped the Matrix, the 9-to-5 rat race, you know. And I'm not an expert at this. I'm basically on the journey to escaping the 9-to-5 rat race myself, you know. But there are people doing it. And by the way, for those of you looking at the video version of this, look at that view. Woo. Yeah, imagine what you could do, or what we could do, if we escaped the 9-to-5 rat race and had time, income, and location independence. There's a lot of options. Being in a better position if even more crazy things starts to happen. That's one thing. But just think about things when it comes to lifestyle. Look at this view, for example. What kind of places in the world would you like to spend more time? Maybe you could drive around in your dream car for a road trip and enjoy sunsets like this. Different places. Spend time with friends, family. Work on meaningful things, making a difference. Freedom. The last few weeks I've been interviewing a bunch of people that are running paid communities and are making at least $10,000 profit per month by running online paid communities. And the fascinating thing is that a bunch of those people are actually running their paid communities as a kind of cash cow business, where they are working like 4 to 15 hours per week and profiting 5 to 6 figures per month. Pretty fascinating. I was for those interviews, it's for a book and course and community that I'm working on. And I'm going to interview at least 30 of them. At the time of this recording, I've not interviewed all 30, but a bunch of them. And the thing is, I was expecting these interviews to be really interesting, but they surprised me. They became even better than I expected. Really exciting stuff. Years ago, I read the classic, The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. And it made a tremendous impact on me. I don't want to work only 4 hours per week. That's not the point. It talks a lot about effectiveness, but still, the concept of semi-passive income and ideal lifestyle design, outsourcing, and building an automated or almost automated business that finances your lifestyle. The whole concept, it's really fascinating. Me, myself, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to work only 4 hours per week. But still, I find it fascinating with a business model like that it is possible, But yeah, the thing is, I've searched online for years, from time to time, trying to find some 4-hour work week success stories. But I found extremely few. I found some success stories of people doing it with email marketing mainly, and that can be a great option. But actually, one of the guys that I interviewed about his paid community success story, a guy from Germany, these days he was working less than 4 hours per week, and he was profiting about 18,000 euros per month. And he was partnering with a friend, so they were earning about 18,000 euros each per month. Pretty fascinating. Anyway, if you want to learn from those real life paid community success stories, just go to communitycashcows.com. And if you decide to join, you can also you know, in addition to learning from those success stories, you can also connect with a bunch of other people that are in the process of building their own paid community as well. So yeah, check it out at communitycashcows.com. Take care and God bless.